Welcome to the video. So this video is going to be a short decode, and we're going to be looking at Joshua's date, which I probably shouldn't even call Joshua's date. I think this is the date of the church, September 23rd to 24th. So if you haven't watched this video, which is a Medic for Christ interview with Joshua, it's about 2 hours long. It's just incredible. I thought his first two interviews were incredible, but this one is just it hit me very deep in my spirit. I almost don't even have words to describe it. You'll have to just watch it for yourself. It's incredible. But before we begin here, I'll just read a quick and simple gospel. John chapter 3, verse 16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. And it's as easy as that. It doesn't matter how good of a person you've been in your life, or how often you've gone to church, or given to charity, or even prayed. The only thing that matters and the only thing that will give you everlasting and eternal life is believing in Him. I shouldn't say matters. Doing good works definitely matters, but the only thing that will give you salvation is believing in His sacrifice. And I often don't talk about the full context of this verse, but today we're going to go into a little more depth. So all of this is in red lettering, and if you're not familiar with the Bible, everything in red lettering is Jesus talking, and this is recorded by John, the Apostle John. So this is Jesus' promise to you. It's very, very simple. There's nothing attached to it. There's no asterisks. It's very, very simple. If you believe He is God, you will be saved. It's that simple. Okay, so the video we're going to be watching today for the decode is Lavender by Snoop Dogg. If you haven't seen this video, it's filled to the brim with symbolism, and I haven't been looking at symbolism a whole lot lately. However, some things just come to me when I'm like driving and just drinking coffee on a long drive, and some things will come to me, but I think I have a pretty good understanding of a lot of the symbolism within this video, and it's gonna walk us right on to Joshua's date. So I'm just gonna play through. We're gonna go from I think the 2 minute and a bit mark to like the 4 minute mark, and I'm just gonna point out certain things. At first, I'm just gonna point out the numbers, and I'll just kind of like write them down as we go. And then like once I think we've kind of like gone through all of that, then I'll tell you exactly what I think certain things are and how it lines up with our date. So I'll just play this now. And there's gonna be no sound, so I don't get copyrighted. Okay, first thing I'll point out that's kind of interesting here is right behind his chair, you have the emblem for Saudi Arabia. You have the two crossed swords and the palm tree. You can look that up, but that's the emblem for Saudi Arabia. So, obviously, right now I can't tie that to anything, but if this is relevant, I'll definitely make note of it in a post. Over here, we have a very interesting thing here. So, we have portrait of George Washington here, and he was born on February 22nd, I believe. February 22nd, so 222. So this is very, very interesting. I'll just talk about this part. So Medic for Christ, he found a very, very interesting pattern. So since the Revelation 12 sign, which was on September 23rd, 2017, there so far have been 6 iterations of a distance between Feast of Trumpets and Day of Atonement being 2,550 days. If you read the book of Daniel, you'll get this day count, which will be for Jacob's trouble or the tribulation. So 2,550 days. The Feast of Trumpets being where Christ will return for his church. And then the Day of Atonement being the second coming that will end the tribulation. So there has been 6 times that there has been that precise distance between those 2 days since the Revelation 12 sign in 2017. The upcoming Feast of Trumpets will be the 7th iteration of that pattern. So if you know anything about the Bible, you know that 7 is God's favorite number. So I think that it carries a great deal of significance. The very, very interesting thing as it pertains to 222, which you'll see this constantly in enemy symbolism, is that I have no way of really checking this because I'm not particularly good with like Chat GPT and that sort of thing. But one person commented that since 37 AD, which is the first year that this pattern has happened after Christ's death, or his sacrifice on the cross, it has occurred 221 times. So this upcoming iteration of that 2,550 day count will be the 222nd iteration of that perfect distance, setting up the day count for the tribulation. So I don't really know how to check that. I would have to either take an extremely long time and go through it all myself, or fire it into ChatGPT, which I don't particularly know how to. So if someone's better with that, and they can comment it down below. But I think if our upcoming Feast of Trumpets is our 222nd perfect tribulation day count, I think that would make sense with a great deal of the enemy symbolism. And then we have like the white car and that. We're not going to talk about this scene too much. So now we're going to get into the very, very important stuff here. So we have 1, 2, 4. So let's assume this is 1024. You're going to see this very, very often in enemy symbolism. If you've been following my posts, this is a constant. You'll have 1024, 1010, 1 New Year's symbolism, and most often you'll have XX. So X in Roman numerals is 10, and then X in ordinal gematria, which I'll just pull that up here. This is where every letter is assigned a number, A being 1, B being 2, X is 24. So XX would be 2424 or 1024. So this is very, very reoccurring here. So I'll tell you exactly what I think that's going to be later in the video. Now we get into the really interesting stuff here. So we have this Trump character here. He's smoking a cigar. So we're going to go to Gematria and we're going to fire in cigar here. So cigar is 38. So we're going to make note of that. So 38. And this is interesting as well here. You have 3, 2 with the horns, 1 over here, 3, 2, 1. Could be sort of like a countdown. That's a little more ambiguous. We're not going to talk about that one too much. Actually, let's go back a little bit here. Let's count the clowns. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 clowns. 2, 3. 1 for give or take a day. That could be September 23rd. Or 24th, give or take the day. So just notice that. Could be that, but okay. Now, so we have 22 down here. So we're going to assume here that this is just September 22nd. So we have the 2-2 here. Whether this is going to be here, 2-2 here, whether this is going to be an event or anything, not entirely sure, but I'm going to show you why the cigar, which is 38, and 2-2 coincide here. Actually, we'll go to that first. This makes sense within the order. So we're going to go to the Dawn. The Dawn was born on June 14th, 1946 here. So actually, let's keep playing here. We'll come back to that. Because there is one other iteration of the 38, and I'll show you that. Okay, this scene's incredible with the symbolism in it. So we have the Donald Trump figure here. He's holding up 10. He's holding up 10 in total. So 5, 5, so this is 10. He's showing you 10. And then we have Bang here. So let's go to Gematria. What could Bang be? Bang is 24. So for the second time, they show us 1024. And if you believe it or not, in the scene, they're also showing us 1024 again. Most people won't see this. You have 1 long stripe, 1, 2 headlights, 2. And then if we back up a little bit, you see that there are 4 small stripes on the car. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 4. So within the scene, they're showing you 1024 twice. You can't really include a 0, so there's that, and the super interesting part here. So the screen goes dark at 3:08. So there's our 38 again. So let's back this right up here, right to the 22. So we have 22 here, cigars 38, and then the screen goes black at 38 or 3:08. So what could that be? So we're going to go to Donald Trump's birthday here. So June 14th, 2025. And we're going to go to September 22nd as they're giving us the 2-2. So wouldn't you know it, the distance between those two dates is exactly 3 months and 8 days. So that one's pretty easy. The 1024 we're going to look at is a little more ambiguous, but I think I have a very good idea of what it actually is. So I'm going to try and find another picture. Rapture. What was that video game? BioShock. New Year's. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Rapture. New Year's Eve. Yeah, in this there's a lot of celebrate New Year's and Rapture. If you've been following my channel for a while, the New Year's symbolism is very reoccurrent as it pertains to the Rapture. So what could that possibly mean? We're gonna consider the New Year's symbolism with our 1024. So when we're given the 1024 or the XX, it's always in different forms. It's either 1010, XX, 1024. Ultimately, we're going to reduce that. So we're going to assume that we're really just being given 1010, which just reduces to 1-1. So what could that be? So we're going to go to Hebcal here, which is the conversion of the Gregorian calendar to the Hebrew calendar. And we're going to go to September 23rd. And there we have Tishri 1. So this, I believe the religious calendar, it's the 7th month. However, on the Jewish civil calendar, this is the 1st month. So this is New Year's, which is, as I'm sure most of you know, is coinciding with Rosh Hashanah. So Rosh Hashanah is the head of the year. Rosh Hashanah is the new year in Judaism. So what's New Year's? September 23rd is New Year's. That's 1024, 1010, XX. Ultimately, is just 1-1. So I believe that's what's ultimately being shown to us. And it just so happens to perfectly coincide with the 923 symbolism, which is shown to us constantly. I believe God's Roadmap to the End has a few very good videos that compile all of the 923 symbolism. But it's very funny how that just coincides with our 1-1. So a lot of the symbolism in this video is looking very simple right now. However, we're going to get into something that's a bit more ambiguous here. So this next part is going to be my personal theory here. Okay, so screen goes black at 3:08. So we are going to assume that this is September 22nd here. As this is, if you recall, we go back here, are 3 months and 8 days from Donald Trump's birthday, which, if you've watched the video, it's all about him. So it would make sense that the rest of the symbolism is about him as well. So it goes black at 3:08. Let's pretend that 3:08 is the 22nd. So we're now at 3:09, that is the 23rd. And the lights start to go back on the 24th, which we're going to say is 3:10. And then you have Snoop here kind of shrugging like, oh, I don't know what that sound was, but he's like, oh, we're back. So this is like now 5 days later, the lights are back on. This is pretty much, I think, very similar to what is symbolized in the Simpsons Rapture episode, Thank God It's Doomsday, where Homer sees what could be the blood moon, and then the screen goes black for 3 seconds. You're showing the exact same thing here. However, the timestamp coincides with the time since the Don's birthday. So I think that's very interesting. But yeah, that's pretty much all the symbolism I wanted to go over in this video. I'm glad this ended up being very short, but it certainly gets easier when you know exactly what you're looking for. But I'm just scrolling through this if there's anything else I wanted to look at. Yeah, we'll go here. So this is very, very interesting. You have like this circle here, there's an arrow here. There's obviously something they want to show you here. Uh, but I think ultimately, like if you watch a lot of their symbolism, you'll get a lot of Easter symbolism as well, which Easter was on April 20th, which April on the old or early Roman calendar was the second month. So again, they just give you 2 there. So I think a great deal of it has to do with the 22nd. Uh, we'll see how everything shakes out, but let's take a look at this and see if I notice anything. Maybe I'll just make a post about this later. I feel like I probably could figure that one out. But yeah, everything else in this video was pretty simple. The 3-8 really kind of walked me onto everything. So yeah, thank you for watching the video. Please like, share, subscribe, and tell your friends. Maranatha.